Thanks for stopping by for my review of Game & Wario. In this video review, you will hear my impression of Game & Wario's story, gameplay, aesthetics, and audio. I will also reveal what I consider to be the best and worst aspects of this game. Finally, I will recommend who I think would enjoy Game & Wario. There is not exactly a story for Game & Wario. It is a compilation of 16 mini-games, which vary in genre and all have their own simple plots. 10 games are single-player, 2 games support up to 2 players, and the remaining 4 are multiplayer games for up to 5 players. Each minigame uses the Wii U gamepad in a variety of ways. My all-time favorite, of course, was Gamer. This single-player minigame perfectly captures trying to sneak some game time after bedtime. The gamepad acts as a handheld, which features simple minigames. What is challenging about this game is playing a handheld game while simultaneously watching a television screen to know when to hide before the mom checks in. Even though I had years of experience dodging my own mother's watchful eye, I found this minigame challenging and addicting. Arrow uses the gamepad as a bow used to launch arrows at strawberry-stealing enemies. A photography game called Shutter turns the gamepad into a camera to take photos of criminals. Ashley is played by tilting the gamepad to guide the title character on her broom through a desert. Kung Fu also uses tilting controls to guide a protagonist jumping over a series of platforms to collect delicious dumplings. I personally prefer dumplings before flowers. A couple of games use the gamepad stylus to draw on the screen, like in Design, which can be played by 1 or 2 players. The visual design of this minigame collection appears inspired by the traditional bright, colorful, and simple Nintendo style. Perhaps a bit too simple at times, cutscenes with Wario look like any free Flash game found online. Fortunately, simple graphics do not make this game look unrefined. In fact, I think Game & Wario's designers were paying tribute to retro Nintendo games that I used to play when I was a kid. Much of the music in these games was fun and upbeat, but I especially loved the cheesy, smooth disco from the minigame called Ski. My favorite, Gamer, relied on sounds and increasingly intense music to indicate when to hide to avoid being caught by the mom. The best part of this game is that several of these minigames are very well made and entertaining. There is no specific aspect in this set of minigames that I consider the worst. On the contrary, many small problems stack up against Game & Wario's quality. In most minigames that required tilting my gamepad, I found the response to be sluggish, and I would have to stop and readjust my controller several times while playing. I consider any minute spent adjusting my controller a complete waste of time. Several minigames were too simple to give any challenge whatsoever. Last but certainly not least, 16 games is far too short, considering how short they actually are. A few multiplayer games would work nicely as party games and add some replay value to the compilation. Otherwise, I'm not inclined to go back and revisit any minigames after beating them. A few of them I would not bother beating in the first place. I like game compilations, and I would like to play more games in this series. It would be awesome if there were more retro games remastered in this updated style and released together. Game & Wario is cute and inoffensive, perfect for children between 5 and 10 years old. I always hear from non-gamer adults that they are afraid to buy a game for a child because they worry about hidden violence, adult content, or bigotry. Wario in game is safe, and even has a handful of female protagonists, so girls will not feel completely left out. So, do you plan to pick up Game & Wario? If you already own Game & Wario, let me know your impressions of it down in the comments below.